semuanya, kami dari kelompok 10, saya Risma Kuswanti dan rekan-rekan saya.
Saya Nisa Kurniasari.
Saya Sandra Kalista.
Saya Feby Perliani Putri.
Akan menjelaskan tentang penerapan desain marketing program,
yakni produk,
price,
channel strategi dari suatu brand perusahaan untuk membangun brand equity.
Semoga video ini dapat bermanfaat.
Check it out!
Nike, the world's most popular and biggest sportswear company. In just over 50 years, one man's dream of better shoes turned into a global corporation worth over $100 billion. Today, we're going back to the earliest days of Nike to figure out how that magic happened.
Nike Corporation merupakan perusahaan sepatu, pakaian, dan alat-alat olahraga yang berasal dari Amerika Serikat dan berdiri pada tanggal 25 Januari 1964. Didirikan oleh Philip Knight dan William Bowerman, Nike merupakan salah satu perusahaan olahraga terbesar di dunia. Bermarkas di Beaverton, Oregon, Amerika Serikat, produk-produk Nike sangat mudah dikenali oleh masyarakat karena memiliki logo yang sangat khas bernama swoosh dan memiliki slogan "Just Do It".
Nike is the largest footwear and athletic apparel brand in the world. It's its triple-double plan. It outlined their desire to double innovation, speed to market, and their direct connections with consumers. Nike is transforming its business so it has a direct-to-consumer marketing strategy. But what is a DTC marketing strategy? Well, first you need to understand what the traditional business model is. To give an example, let's say you want to start a business that makes custom t-shirts. After spending hours and hours making all your t-shirts, you are finally ready to sell them at $10 a piece. In this case, you need to sell your shirts to a wholesale distributor. The distributor will then sell, ship, and deliver the shirts they bought to a retailer, like Macy's or Nordstrom, who will then sell to the public. However, instead of selling the shirts for $10, the retailer prices it at $16. That's because both the distributor and the retailer need to raise the price to make money. The inflated price also means you will sell fewer shirts than you would have if the shirts had been sold to the consumer at $10, due to the laws of supply and demand. If a direct-to-consumer strategy was used, however, the shirt would be sold to the consumer at $10, because your product would have avoided the markups from both the distributor and the retailer, thus lowering the total supply chain cost. But how do companies form a direct connection with the consumer, and why is it the ideal business model? Well, selling your products online and shipping directly to customers is by far the most popular way. However, it doesn't have to end there. With the increasing presence of social media in people's day-to-day lives, DTC companies can cheaply pay for ads and easily access their target market. Buying ads on social media gets people talking about your product and helps to create a community centered around it. Companies can now collect more consumer data, giving them more information on how to provide exactly what people want. And new features like Instagram's checkout option, which allows people to buy a product that shows up in their feed, is making it easier for companies to make a connection with their consumer. Not only does the DTC strategy allow companies to access new markets, but also to form more meaningful connections with their consumers, strengthening the company's perception and brand. So how is Nike implementing the DTC marketing strategy? As of now, Nike has invested more than $2 billion in Nike Direct, the DTC division of their business. Currently, however, 70% of Nike's business is done through wholesale distribution with their near 30,000 partners. But Nike plans to reduce those 30,000 partners to a mere 40. Why? Because the fewer the partners, the easier it is to monitor the customer's experience and quality of service. Nike isn't trying to get rid of wholesale distribution. They are trying to get rid of the retailers that don't have the resources to differentiate Nike's product and brand from others. These select retailers have agreed to hand Nike their own department and the ability to hire their own employees, people who know about Nike's products. Nike is also in the process of opening a series of pop-up stores in areas where sales are high. For instance, a Nike store was opened in Los Angeles, focusing on bringing the physical and digital retailing spaces together. The products a store carries is determined by what is popular in the area, learned via online sales. For example, in Los Angeles, the retro-style sneakers are featured because a lot of people bought those styles online. And if you are a Nike Plus member, your in-store experience will be that much better, as customers can request fitting rooms, shoe sizes, and reserve a pair to try on later. You can also check out and skip the line and receive special offers all through the Nike app. And all these efforts seem to be paying off, as Nike's digital sales rose 36% in the first quarter of 2019 and reached $1 billion of net income for the first time in the company's history. Rather than continue with the traditional business model, Nike decided to be proactive and switch their marketing strategy, a move that was necessary to stay relevant for years to come. To rephrase Charles Darwin's famous words, it's not the strongest of the companies that survive, but the ones most responsive to change.
Selanjutnya, saya akan membahas tentang channel strategi atau marketing strategi. Nah, sebagian besar kesuksesan Nike dapat dikaitkan dengan kampanye pemasaran merek di seluruh dunia yang menggunakan perjanjian sponsor dengan atlet selebriti seperti Cristiano Ronaldo, Tiger Woods, dan Michael Jordan, serta tim olahraga profesional seperti tim sepak bola nasional Inggris, FC Barcelona, Inter Milan, dan masih banyak lagi. Nike juga mensponsori program atletik perguruan tinggi untuk menggunakan produk mereka guna mempromosikan teknologi dan desain mereka. Selain menggunakan brand ambassador, Nike juga memasarkan produknya melalui iklan di televisi dan di internet, serta broadcast email ke pelanggan.
Running is hard. Whether you're talking to an elite runner who's beat up from marathon training or you're talking to your first-time runner, that's where Joyride really was birthed from. One of the big ideas for Joyride is to make running feel easy, allowing runners to continue to run but give their legs a day off. The idea of personalized cushioning really came to us because we've all sat in a beanbag chair. We wanted to put that feeling inside of a shoe. Beads are really the magic behind Joyride. Under compression, the air that's trapped between the beads is allowed to escape, which allows for cushioning. Our innovation partners have been working on identifying the right material and the exact size and shape of each of the beads. So combined with pressure maps, you get beads placed exactly where you need them for this amazing personalized cushioning.
Baru-baru ini, Nike mengeluarkan produk sepatu kets Space Hype berbahan daur ulang. Sepatu yang dirilis pada Februari tahun 2020 ini diluncurkan menjadi 4 seri, yakni Space Hype 1, 2, 3, dan 4. Nike mengklaim seri ini merupakan sneakers pertama untuk menuju ekonomi sirkular yang bertujuan menghilangkan limbah dan polusi dari kegiatan manufaktur. Desain yang menyerupai rancangan Flight Knit Nike ini dirajut dari benang sisa. Inovasi ini juga terbuat dari 100% bahan daur ulang termasuk botol minum plastik, kaos, dan sisa tekstil. Sedangkan pada bagian tengah menggunakan busa ringan dari sisa produksi. Tujuannya mengurangi penggunaan bahan baru dan memungkinkannya mengurangi jejak karbon. Dengan seri Space Hype, Nike ingin mengembangkan industri yang lebih ramah lingkungan dengan memajukan potensi manusia dan lingkungan di dalam prosesnya. Pemanfaatan limbah daur ulang menjadi tolak ukur baru dalam menetapkan standar baru suatu produk. Selain itu, Nike juga berencana memproduksi pakaian daur ulang untuk Olimpiade Tokyo 2020 yang terbuat dari bahan-bahan daur ulang. Produk-produk tersebut juga dapat meningkatkan minat beli masyarakat, terutama para pemerhati lingkungan. Nike juga mengeluarkan sepatu lari dengan seri Nike Zoom X Vaporfly Next Percent. Sepatu lari dengan seri ini tampaknya menjadi salah satu dari segelintir sepatu populer yang penting bagi performa balapan. Jenis sepatu lari dari Nike ini menampilkan plat karbon dan busa midsole kenyal. Keuntungan yang diberikan jika menggunakan sepatu ini adalah berlari 4 hingga 5% lebih cepat daripada pelari yang mengenakan sepatu biasa, dan 2 hingga 3% lebih cepat dari pelari di sepatu populer tercepat berikutnya.
Nike juga mengeluarkan jenis Fly Leather. Untuk Nike Fly Leather sendiri adalah material terbaru dari Nike yang dibuat dengan setidaknya 50% serat-serat kulit sapi hasil daur ulang. Pita sol dan dinding samping menggunakan 3% Nike Grit, bahan yang terbuat dari karet limbah, hingga label lidah dan tali sepatu yang terbuat dari bahan daur ulang dan jahitan-jahitan minimalis yang menggunakan benang sesedikit mungkin. Diproses menggunakan teknologi water power yang ramah lingkungan, Nike menyebut Nike Fly Leather sebagai material yang premium dan sustainable, durable tapi juga ringan. Secara fisik, Fly Leather terlihat seperti material kulit pada umumnya. Bahkan rasa dan wangi khas leather-nya pun identik. Selanjutnya yaitu Nike juga mengeluarkan sepatu golf yaitu Nike Air Zoom Infinity Tour. Desain multimaterial memiliki bagian atas flight knit yang tahan air, pelat Nike Zoom yang storable untuk struktur dan kenyamanan, midsole rack untuk pengembalian energi, pot zoom air berbentuk hex di bagian tumit dan kaki depan, dan outsole yang berat traksi untuk memberikan stabilitas bahkan melalui ayunan yang paling ganas. Nike Zoom X Vaporfly. Yang membuat sepatu lari ini berbeda dari sepatu lari yang lain, antara lain pelat serat karbon di midsole yang menyimpan dan melepaskan energi pada setiap langkahnya dan dimaksudkan untuk bertindak sebagai semacam ketapel. Untuk mendorong pelari, sepatu tersebut juga memiliki busa midsole yang menurut para peneliti berkontribusi pada peningkatan ekonomi lari. Yang terakhir itu ada harga. Harga yang ditawarkan Nike juga bervariasi. Target pasar Nike merupakan golongan menengah ke atas, dan juga Nike memberikan kisaran harga mulai dari ratusan ribu hingga puluhan juta rupiah.
This time, instead of locking himself into exclusive agreements, Phil established a network of subcontractors across Japan. With production under his control, Phil could finally spread his wings. You can see in this graph of Nike's sales exactly when Phil started importing shoes from his Japanese subcontractors. And yes, he started before his contract had even expired, in 1971. From then on, the story of Nike became one of growth. They became the largest sportswear company in America in 1989, on the back of brilliant marketing like the Just Do It campaign, and by signing rookie athletes that would eventually become famous across the world. The ascent of Nike is a story every bit as interesting as the early days of Phil Knight. But don't take my word for it. Phil Knight himself released his autobiography in 2016. And you can
Terima
listen.
kasih telah menonton video ini.
Dadah.